continue your discussion on preferential taxation. Classes continue your discussion on preferential taxation. We're now on number 5. Okay? And number 5 is about PEZA, or the Philippine Economic Zone Authority. Class PEZA is a government agency tasked to provide investments, assistance, and incentives to both local and foreign investors. Okay, so it's a government agency, and in fact, PEZA is under the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI. Alright? Now, plus let's refer to our G sheets. As you can see here, yung reference natin is the Special Economic Zone Act of 1995, or RA 7916. So naglagay ako ng dalawang links dyan. So open nyo muna yung class. Ayan. So yung Special Economic Zone Act of 1995, yun yung nag-create ng PEZA. Okay? It also established what we call the economic zones, or eco zones. Sir, para saan yung eco zones na yan? So ganito yung class. Para mas ma-appreciate nyo yan, yung second na link na nilagay ko dito, actually yung first link, yan yung, well, yung link dun sa Special Economic Zone Act, okay? Yung pangalawang link, pag clinic mo yan, makikita mo yung, may makikita ang Google Map. Nakita mo yan? Okay, so pag zoom mo yung Google Map, basically, papakita sa'yo dyan yung mga economic zones na located across the Philippines. Selected areas lang yan, pero sa buong Philippines may mga economic zones yan, okay? Now, sir, ano yung importance ng mga economic zones na yan? So class, open nyo yan ha, para mas ma-appreciate nyo. Now, yung mga economic zones na yan, class, isipin mo ganito yan. Lagay ko dito, eco zone. Okay. Yung Philippines, class, well, we're considered as separate customs territory. So ibig sabihin, pag tayo nagbenta outside the Philippines, considered yun as export. Tama? Pag naman bumili tayo from a supplier outside the Philippines, papunta sa atin, import naman yun. Isipin nyo, class, na ang isang eco zone, separate customs territory yan. Ibig sabihin, class, na customs territory. Ibig sabihin, pag nagbenta siya outside the eco zone, okay? Pag nagbenta, sale, considered yun as export. Gets? Pag naman bumili siya from outside the eco zone, purchase, considered yun as import. Okay? Yun yung implication ng isang eco zone, is a separate customs territory. Malinaw? Okay, now, tingnan natin, class. Yung mga eco zones na yan, again, located siya all over the Philippines. Yung mga largest dyan, I don't know if you're familiar, pero babasahin ko. Are you familiar with Subic Bay Freeport Zone? Okay. We have Clark Freeport, Cagayan Special Economic Zone, Cavite Economic Zone, Laguna Technopark, Laguna International Industrial Park. Usually, ang ginagamit dito mga names, yung zone, Technopark, Industrial Park, yung mga ganyan. Okay, yun yung mga names na ginagamit. But again, maraming eco zones all over the Philippines. Later, titingnan natin ano yung mga benefits nila. Okay? Pag nakalocate ka dun sa eco zone. Now, tingnan natin, class, yung G-sheets natin. Hindi lahat ng activities eligible for PEZA registration. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na eligible activities na nakalista yan. Okay? So, tingnan natin. Lagyan natin dito, class, eligible activities. Basahin natin, class. So, letter A, export manufacturing. B, IT service export. C, tourism. D, medical tourism. E, agro-industrial export manufacturing. F, agro-industrial biofuel manufacturing. Logistics, eco zone development or operation, facilities providers, and utilities. So, familiarize yourselves lang. No need to memorize this. Basta alam lang natin na, okay, may mga activities na eligible for PEZA registration. Now, yung categories of eco zones, yan, yung eco zones na yan, may categories yan. Actually, yung 5 na yan, basahin natin ha. Letter A, manufacturing economic zone. B, IT parks or centers. C, agro-industrial economic zone. D, tourism. And E, medical tourism. May 5. Tama? Ngayon, balik ka dun sa Google Map kanina. Dun sa Google Map natin, taas mo ng konti. Nakita mo dyan, class, merong 74 manufacturing. Sulat yun ha. 74 na manufacturing. Ano pa? We have 262 na IT parks. Okay? And then, meron tayong 22 na agro-industrial, 19 na tourism, and 2 na medical. So, ang gusto ko lang tandaan mo, yung dalawa na to. Manufacturing and IT. Bakit, sir? Kasi, yun yung bulk. 74 sa manufacturing, 262 sa IT. Actually, it accounts for almost 90% ng total economic zone sa Philippines. Okay? Now, bigyan ko ng examples. Sir, ano ba yung mga manufacturing and IT companies na nakalocate sa PEZA? Okay, ito, class, yung mga largest companies na nandiyan. Are you familiar with Intel? Okay, ano pa? Fujitsu. Toshiba. What else? Epson. Hitachi. Dell. Panasonic. Ano pa? Convergys. We have JP Morgan. And Teletech. Ayan. So, yung manufacturing, usually mga electronics, no? Alam natin yan, yung Intel, Fujitsu, Toshiba, Epson, Hitachi, Dell, Panasonic, yun, so mga laptops natin, diba? Yun yung manufacture niyan. Yun yung mga manufacturing na ecozones, okay? Yung IT naman class, ito yung basically mga business process outsourcings or mga BPOs or KPOs, such as Convergys, JP Morgan, and Teletech. Okay, so gusto ko lang na, okay, familiar ka sa mga companies na nakalocate sa PEZA. So basically class, yung mga yan, very conducive sa kanila na magtayo ng business sa economic zones. Alright? Sige, now. Tingnan natin, balik tayo dun sa eligible activities. So again, so yun yung tatandaan mo, yung manufacturing and IT. Sir, ano naman yung benefits pag PEZA-registered companies? Meron tayong tinatawag class na fiscal and non-fiscal benefits. So pag fiscal, ang ibig sabihin yan, well, tax-related. Fiscal, ibig sabihin tax-related. Pag non-fiscal, non-tax-related. So tingnan natin class, yung G-sheets natin. Benefits of PEZA-registered companies. Okay, fiscal incentives. Actually, may nilagay akong link. Open nyo muna yung link na yung class, no? And then babalikan natin later yan. Okay, so letter A, meron tayong income tax holiday. So lagyan natin, ITH, income tax holiday. Ibig sabihin yan, yung mga companies, ito, ayan, so first 6 years nila, alright, 100% exemption from corporate income tax. So yung R-seat, yung M-seat, wala yan for the first 6 years. Actually, pwede pang i-extend up to 8 years, depende. Pero kasi tayo tinatawag na pioneer and non-pioneer project. So lagyan natin dito, pioneer, non-pioneer. Okay, balikan natin ito later class, no? Isa-isay muna natin yung fiscal incentives. Ulitin ko, income tax holiday, 6 years for pioneer project, pwede i-extend ng 8 years. Kapag non-pioneer, 4 years lang. Alright? Pag expansion and modernization, 3 years. Okay? Now, ito important dyan. Pag nag-expire na yung income tax holiday, meron kang 5% special tax on gross income. Ang tawag natin dyan, 5% gross income tax or GIT. Okay? Again, income tax holiday muna. Pag nag-expire na yung income tax holiday, magka-transition ka sa 5% GIT. Take note, basis sa gross income, okay? And exemption from all national and local taxes. Wala kang babayaran na national, wala kang babayaran na local taxes, except real property tax. Sa real property tax, dyan lang hindi exempt ang ang PEZA-registered company, okay? Pag naka-GIT ka na, pag naka 5% GIT. Alright? Sige, now, tignan natin yung iba pang fiscal incentives, tax and duty-free importation. Okay, so pag nag-import ka, so again, ito. Ayan, so tax-free, duty-free importation. Exemption from warface use, export tax, imposts or fees, VAT zero rating on local purchases of goods subject to compliance with BIR, exemption from all local government imposts, fees, licenses or taxes, well, except RPT again, no? Exemption from expanded withholding tax. So, yun yung mga tax-related incentives or what we call fiscal incentives. Meron din mga non-fiscal. Tingnan natin class. Non-fiscal incentives, simplified import-export procedures. B, non-resident foreign nationals may be employed by PEZA in supervisory, technical, and advisory positions. So as you notice, class, most of the companies na nilagay ko dito, yung mga largest companies sa PEZA, di ba mga foreign companies to? Tama? So again, one of the objectives of PEZA is to attract foreign investors. Right? So kaya nakalagay dyan, one of the non-fiscal incentives is, pag non-resident foreign nationals, pwede siyang i-employ sa PEZA registered, sa PEZA ecozones. Okay? Special non-immigrant visa with multiple entry privileges for non-resident foreign nationals. So, pag employed sila, bibigyan silang special visa. Okay? May multiple entries sila. Pwede silang bumalik-balik sa Philippines every now and then. Alright? So, yun yung mga non-fiscal incentives. Okay, so class, ang important, tandaan nyo, mamaya kasi papag-aralan din natin yung BOI. Sa PEZA, dapat yung company mag-transfer or yung company dapat mag-locate sila dun sa economic zones. Okay? Para maging PEZA registered sila. Makikita natin later, pag BOI naman, kahit nasaan ka sa Philippines, wala tayong tinatawag na economic zones pagdating sa BOI. So ulitin ko, pag PEZA, dapat mag-locate ka dun sa economic zones. Okay? Pag BOI, kahit saan ka sa Philippines. Alright? So may mga pros and cons yan. Now, balik tayo dito class. As you notice kanina, pag pioneer, 6 years na income tax holiday, mas matagal. Actually, pwede extend up to 8 years. Pag non-pioneer, 4 years lang. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, mas ina-encourage ni PEZA na mag-pioneer project ka. Sir, ano ba yung pioneer project? Pag clinic mo yung link na nilagay ko dyan, makikita mo yung downloads. Okay? So, sa downloads, makikita mo class yung application forms ng mga companies para maging PEZA registered. Actually, medyo maraming requirements yung PEZA, no? And then sa middle portion class, makikita mo dyan checklist. Nakita mo ba yan? Checklist? Checklist on application form for pioneer status. Pag clinic mo yan, makikita mo lahat ng requirements para maging pioneer status ka. Pero ganito yung class, mag-focus tayo dito sa dalawa, yung manufacturing and IT. Ganito yung requirements yan. Para masabi mong pioneer, alright? Pioneer status, pag IT ka, okay, di mo na, pag manufacturing ka or IT ka, okay? Pag manufacturing ka class, dapat yung project mo has never been, or business mo, or yung ino-offer mo, has never been produced in the Philippines. Okay? And new, and untried in the Philippines. Ayun. And pag naman IT, pag sinabi mong pioneer, dapat meron kang major innovation And then with project cost of at least $5 million. Okay? $5 million. So kasi nilagay ko lang dito to para meron kang idea kung ano yung difference ng pioneer and non-pioneer. Basically, pag pioneer, bagong technology, okay, bagong products, major innovation dito sa Philippines. Yun yung pioneer. Alright? So ayan, manufacturing and IT. Pag hindi ganun, pag existing na yung technology, pag existing yung products, non-pioneer yung tawag doon. Gets? Okay. So, pwede mo i-check yung downloads na nila. Kahit open mo lang, and then tignan mo lang yung content para mas ma-appreciate mo siya. Again, plus, yung PEZA, very broad doon. Very broad. So, ang aaralin lang natin yung mga major points lang na kailangan mo malaman for CPA board exam. Alright? Sige. Now, let's go to our handouts. Number 26. Okay. Number 26, it is the Philippine government agency tasked to promote investments, extend assistance, incentives, facilitate business operations of investors in export-oriented manufacturing and service facilities. Well, ang maganda dito kapag nasa eco zone ka, since export yan, di ba alam natin, pag nagbebenta ka pag nag-export ka, zero rated yan. Tama? So VAT, 0% VAT. Letter C, yung sagot natin dito class, Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA. Number 27, it refers to a selected area with highly developed enterprises or which have the potential to be developed into agro-industrial, tourism, banking, investment, etc. Ang tawag natin dyan is ecozone. Okay, ecozone, and consider siya a separate customs territory for number 27, it's BOY. Number 28, the short title of Republic Act 7916. Alam natin class, yun yung letter A, Special Economic Zone Act of 1995. Alright? Letter A. Number 29, incentives to enterprises locating in export pricing zones. A, foreign merchandise, raw materials, equipment, spare parts brought into zones shall not be subject to customs, internal revenue taxes, nor to local tax ordinances. That's correct. B, BOI registered enterprise incentives. So later makikita nyo class, yung incentives for PEZA and BOI, similar lang yan. Actually, halos same lang sila, no? Kaya true din yung B na yan. C, exemption from local taxes and licenses, except real property taxes. Ulitin ko, pag nag-GIT ka na, exempt ka na sa lahat ng national and local taxes except RPT. Huwag mong kalimutan yan, ha? So, for number 29, dog yung sagot natin dyan, all of the above. Number 30, these are enterprises engaged in manufacturing, pricing, production of commodities or raw materials that are not yet being produced in the Philippines. Di ba ito yun? Okay? Pag manufacturing ka, has never been produced in the Philippines. Pag naman IT ka, major innovation siya in the Philippines. Okay? Ang tawag natin dyan, pioneer. Pioneer enterprises, letter A. Okay? Letter A. Ano ulit class yung benefit niya pag pioneer ka? Well, mas matagal yung income tax holiday mo. Alright? Number 31, na PEZA registered enterprise has a registered and an unregistered activity. So, class, kanina, meron tayong nilagay na eligible activities. Tama? Yung eligible activities, yan yung eligible for incentives. Yung mga income tax holiday, 5% GIT, and so on and so forth. Now, what if yung company na yun, let's say si Intel, meron siyang eligible, meron siyang non-eligible, okay, or ineligible activities. Yung unregistered activity niya, o yung ineligible, hindi siya magiging exempt from tax. Okay? Wala siyang income tax holiday. So kaya sagot dito class, nakalagay, a PEZA registered enterprise has a registered and an unregistered activity. Yung MSET, mag-a-apply siya dun sa unregistered. Got it? Okay, letter B yung sagot for number 31. Sa unregistered activity, treated ka, taxable ka sa regular corporation. Alright? Now, let's go to number 32. The chairman of the PEZA board is, so lagay ko dito class, meron kasi tayong PEZA board. Okay, so isipin mo, parang board of directors siya ng PEZA. Kasi government agency yan, tama? Meron siyang chairman, meron siyang vice chairman, and then meron siyang, ayan, yung chairman class, actually, yan yung DTI secretary. Nadami yan. Kasi under DTI yan, tama? So yung chairman ng PEZA is the DTI secretary. Yung vice chairman naman class, ang tawag naman dyan is director general. Okay? And under vice chairman, meron tayong 3 na deputy director generals. Deputy Director Generals. 3 yan. Okay, so yan yung tatandaan mo. Merong DTI Secretary as Chairman, merong Vice Chairman, ang tawag is Director General, and under that, merong 3 Deputy Director General. So the Chairman of the PEZA Board is letter D, Dog, Secretary of Trade and Industry. Okay, number 33, fiscal incentives may be granted to pioneer. Kung titingnan natin class, ulit yung G-sheets natin, pag pioneer ka, 6 years, pwede mo extend up to 8 years. Siyempre, subject to certain conditions. No? Pwede, pero ang maximum yan is 8 years na income tax holiday. So, Dog for number 33. 33, Dog. Number 34, the following is a non-fiscal. Pag non-fiscal, non-tax related. A, income tax holiday, fiscal yan. B, tax and duty-free importation, fiscal. Exemption from wharfage, export tax, fiscal. Dog yung non-fiscal. Special non-immigrant visa with multiple entry privileges. So, nabasa natin kanina yan. So, Dog for number 34. Number 35, which of the following is incorrect? An enterprise which is registered with PEZA is A, as a general rule, subject to real estate taxes while it is enjoying income tax holiday. Yes. So, again, si PEZA, Actually, kahit during income tax holiday and after income tax holiday, laging subject to RPT yan, real property tax. Boy, exempt from RPT on production not attached to real estate. Exempt from real estate tax for first 3 years of operation. Pricing or industrial, yes. Okay. Dog yung incorrect dito. Exempt from real estate tax while it is enjoying income tax holiday. Subject to RPT. Okay. For number 5, dog. Oh, for number 35, dog. Number 36, upon expiration of income tax holiday, a PEZA registered enterprise may avail of the following fiscal incentive. Except A, 5% special tax on gross income. Pwede yan. Yung 5% GIT natin. B, VAT zero rating of local purchases. Exemption from war-phase duties and export. Dog yung mali dito. Okay? 4 years of exemption from income tax for non-pioneer project. Mali yan. Kasi ang sabi sa number 36, nag-expire na daw yung income tax holiday. Yung 4 years exemption na yan, during income tax holiday yan. Okay? For non-pioneer project. Gets? Alright. Okay, number 37. Which document is not required to be submitted in applying for registration with the PEZA? Naalala niyo yung link na nilagay ko dito for registration? So sabi ko, browse niyo yun para lang familiar kayo. So kung i-open niyo yung class, ang kailangan dito, A, project feasibility study, requirement yan. Project brief, requirement din yan. Articles of incorporation and bylaws, requirement yan. Ang hindi required dito is mayor's permit. Okay, dog, mayor's permit, hindi siya requirement. Okay, let's go to number 38. May konti tayong computation dito, pero easy lang yan. ABC Corporation, a PEZA registered company, has introduced a major innovation. Ibig sabihin, pioneer siya. Tama? Pioneer enterprise. The said technology is new and untried in the Philippines. ABC Corporation yielded the following financial results for 2021. Its 5th year of operations. So, in general rule natin, pag pioneer ka, 6 years income tax holiday mo. Tama? Okay. Meron tayong revenue, cost of services, operating expenses, other income. Question number 1, how much? Dito natin ilagay. Question number 1, how much is the tax due in 2021 assuming ABC Corporation qualified as a pioneer enterprise? Well, nasa 5th year of operation siya. Tama? 5th year. Alam natin, pag pioneer project ka, hanggang 6 years yung income tax holiday mo. Tama? So, ibig sabihin, kung 5th year ka pa lang, answer natin dyan is 0 for question number 1. Dog, exempt ka pa rin from income tax. Got it? Now, let's go to question number 2. Using the same information, except that it is already in the 7th year. So, ang rule natin class, 6 years. Pero pwede mo i-extend up to 8 years, subject to certain conditions. Okay? Pero pag syempre, wala sabi sa problem, asumo hanggang 6 years lang. So, dito, pag 7th year na, subject ka na sa 5% gross income tax. Tama? How much is the income tax due, assuming it is subject to 5% preferential rate? Now, tandaan mo class na ang tawag dito, gross income tax. Ibig sabihin, based siya sa gross income, hindi sa taxable income. So, yung given sa atin, gross revenue, sama mo yan. Tama ba, mina-minus natin yung cost, tama, yung cost of sales or cost of services. So, minus 20 million, wag mo ima-minus yung operating expenses kasi magiging taxable income yun, tama? Yung other income, kasama mo yan? Yes, kasama yan. Plus 4 million. Di ba gross income lahat na marireceive mo, tama? So, ibig sabihin, gross income natin is 44 million. 44 million, multiply natin ng 5%. Okay, 44 million times 0.05. Yung gross income tax natin is 2.2 million. Tawag natin dyan, GIT. 2.2 million, letter B or boy. Okay? So, yun yung para sa PEZA natin. Alright, so, tapos na tayo sa PEZA. Doon naman tayo sa Board of Investment. So, class, erase ko muna to. Last one na, BOI. So, as you notice, class, hina-highlight ko lang sa inyo yung mga important things to remember. No? Kasi pag binasa mo yung PEZA na yan, binasa mo yung BOI, sobrang dami yan, overwhelming. No? So, huwag na natin alamin yung ganun ka-detail talaga for these topics. Okay, so I guess yung mga relevant na lang sa atin in the board exam. Okay, so let's go to the last one, BOI. Lagyan natin ng check. BOI or Board of Investments. So, number 6, BOI. Alright, so class, titignan natin ano yung difference ng incentives mo sa PEZA and incentives mo sa BOI. So, tingnan natin. Sa GCs natin class, nakalagay dyan, yung reference natin for this is Omnibus Investment Code of 1987 or EO 226. Naglagay ako ng link dyan para sa EO 226, so feel free to read. Now, same as PEZA, actually class yung BOI is also under DTI, okay, Department of Trade and Industry. Now, ang main purpose of BOI is to attract foreign investors, local and foreign investors. Parang PEZA din, local and foreign investors. Especially foreign investors, okay? Actually, yun yung priority talaga ng PEZA and BOI, yung foreign investors. Now, kasi class sa Philippines, very conducive din to para sa foreign investors. Number 1, relatively, mas mababa yung wages dito sa Philippines. Okay? So, low wages, at the same time, yung supply ng labor force natin, mas malaki. Okay? Kaya, so, syempre, magaling din sa English yung mga Filipino. So, talagang very conducive for foreign investors mag-locate ng business dito sa Philippines. So, ayan. Now, to give you an idea, class, kung gaano kalaki yung mga investments na yan, in 2020, merong commitment, okay, na 1 trillion peso, okay, approved BOI investments. Approved BOI investments. Class, 2020 lang yan, ha? Isang taon lang yan. Okay, ganyan kalaki yung contribution ng BOI sa atin. 1 trillion peso approved BOI investments. Alright? And iba-ibang countries yan. Pero class, kung papansin niyo, yung usually, ang dalawang countries na laging top investor sa Philippines, tandaan nyo to, yung France and Netherlands. Laging sila, every year. Ayan, yan yung top investor sa atin sa Philippines. Now, sabi ko kanina class, pag PEZA, dapat nakalocate ka sa ecozones. Pag BOI, there's no such thing as ecozones. Ibig sabihin, kahit nasan ka sa Philippines, pwede ka maging BOI registered company. Alright? Now, I'll give you some examples. For in the Philippines, yung mga largest, no, recently, mga BOI registered companies, plus yung Dito Telecom, yung third telco, kay Dennis Uy, yan, BOI registered yan. Ibig sabihin, entitled yan sa mga benefits ng BOI. Ano pa? Yung Texas Instruments, Philippines, yung gumagawa ng mga scientific calculators, Texas Instruments, San Miguel Airport, plus yung airport na itatayo, I think, under construction na yan sa Bulacan. Are you familiar with that? Ayan, BOI din yan. Ano pa? Heineken International, o yung mga mahilig ng beer dyan. Ayan, yung Heineken, it's also a BOI registered company. Alright? So ayan, yung mga, I think familiar kayo sa mga companies na yan. Okay, so tingnan natin class. Sir, paano naman magka-qualify dyan? Qualifications. Tingnan natin class. How to qualify? Let's refer to our G-sheets. Okay, nasulat ko muna pala, how to qualify. Ito class yung important dyan. No? Para mag-qualify ka sa incentives ng BOI, investors, so write this down, very important, in priority areas of activities, okay, listed in the investment priorities plan or IPP. Ulitin ko, paano ka magka-qualify as BOI registered company? Una, dapat mag-i-invest ka sa yung mga keywords. Tandaan nyo ito ha, priority areas of activities listed in the investment priorities plan. So meron tayong priority areas, meron tayong investment priorities plan. Okay, now, sir, ano ba ibig sabihin yan? So, may link ako nilagay dito, class, para may idea ka kung ano ibig sabihin ng investment priorities plan. So, click mo yan. Nasa tabi lang yung link. Ayan. So, meron tayong nakalagay dito, approved na 2020 investment priorities plan. Alright? So, actually, yung IPP na yung class, pinapublish yan once a year ni BOI. Alright? So, basically, makikita mo dyan kung ano yung mga activities or yung mga priority areas. So, tingnan natin. Actually, nasa G-sheets din natin yan. So, tingnan natin, class. Priority areas, apat yan. So, meron tayong preferred activities. Ulat ko muna ha. Preferred activities. What else? So, letter B is export activities. Letter C, meron tayong special laws. And letter D, meron tayong ARM or Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. Ayan. So, apat. Ito yung tinatawag nating class na priority areas. Pag dito ka nag-invest, sir, saan namin makikita yan? Nasa investment priorities plan. Nasaan yan, sir? Ayun, naglagay ako ng link sa G-sheets natin. Leading ko ha, para makapag-eligible ka as BOI registered company, dapat investment mo na sa priority areas na nakalista sa investment priorities plan. Okay, so let's familiarize ourselves class, yung mga laman yan. Preferred activities, letter A, manufacturing, motor vehicle, shipbuilding, aerospace, chemicals, blah, blah, blah. Meron ding agribusiness and fishery, services, economic and low-cost housing, hospitals, energy, public infrastructure and logistics, PPP projects. Ayan, merong export, special laws arm. Ayan. So gusto ko lang maging familiar ka dyan, okay? Kung yan yung mga tinatawag natin na preferred activities. Okay? Or yung mga priority areas. Tingnan natin class. Ito din yung kailangan mong makita dyan. Kung mapapansin mo class, yung fiscal incentives dito, merong fiscal and non-fiscal yan, parang PEZA. Okay, doon tayo sa fiscal incentives. Income tax holiday. 6 years for projects with pioneer status for projects located in less developed area. Now, as you notice here, yung income tax holiday, 6 years, 4 years, 3 years. Di ba ganyan din sa PEZA? Tama? Also, kung babalik ka sa kanina, sa PEZA, 6 years, 4 years, and 3 years din. So, same sila. Ngayon, ang kakaiba dito sa BOI, meron dyan tinatawag na and projects located in less developed areas. Okay? Or LDA. Naglagay din ako ng link dyan. Open natin. Pag sinabing LDA, tingnan natin class, open natin siya. Makikita mo dyan sa page, ayan, dun sa page 2, may PDF na naka-attach dyan, sa link na yan. Page 2, pag sabi mo less developed areas, nakalista din yan. Okay? Bigyan natin ng example. May nakalista na province, may nakalista na city. For example, yung una dyan, Abra. Tapos may corresponding city and municipality. Agusan del Norte, Agusan del Sur, Albay, Antique, Apayao, Basilan, Bukidnon, Cagayan, and so on and so forth. Ang tawag natin dyan class, less developed areas. So, ano yung importance yan? Pag doon ka nag-invest, okay, meron kang 6 years na income tax holiday. Gets? Okay, ulit. 6 years income tax holiday ka, pag pioneer, and pag doon ka sa less developed areas. Alright? Sige. Now, ang gusto ko rin class makita mo dito, wala dyan sa fiscal incentives yung 5% GIT. Yung 5% GIT applies only kay PEZA. Walang ganyan kay BOI. Take note ha. Okay, so usually yung trick sa mga questions. B, duty exemption from warpage dues, tax exemption, tax credits, tax and duty-free importation. Ayan. Usually, same lang sila as PEZA. Ito lang yung kakaiba dyan. Additional deduction for labor expense or ADLE. Mamaya, balikan natin yan. Additional deduction for labor expense. Ayan, for BOI. Balikan natin yan later sa handouts natin. Meron ding non-fiscal incentives. Employment of foreign nationals. Simplification of customs procedures. Importation of consigned equipment. Privilege to operate, blah, blah, blah. So again, pag BOI, meron kang fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. Okay, last one na. Tingnan natin class. Erase ko muna to. And, ayan, tingnan natin. So, erase ko na rin muna to. Sa BOI class, meron siyang, again, kung mapapansin mo, ang isa sa objective niya is to attract foreign investors. So may mga restriction din siya as to foreign ownership. So tandaan mo to class, foreign ownership. Ito yung rules na i-observe natin. So tignan mo muna, kapag pioneer and non-pioneer. So kayo na, alam natin kung ano yung difference ng dalawa. Pag pioneer, initially, pwede siyang maging 100% foreign owned. Tandaan mo yan. Initially, pwedeng 100% foreign owned. And then, assuming na at least 70% for export. Okay? So magpo-produce ng products dito, 70% i-export. Or, ang investment nila nandun sa less developed areas or LDAs. Okay? Again, sabi ko dito, initial lang yan. Kasi eventually, kailangan maging 60% Filipino-owned to. Okay? Kasi class, di ba meron tayong rule na sa foreign ownership natin, ang general rule natin, 60-40. 60% Filipino-owned, 40% foreigner. Yung limit nila, foreign ownership. So ngayon, pag nag-invest na sa Pioneer project, initially, pwede silang 100% foreign owned. Pero eventually, dapat maging 60% sila. And kung qualify ka lang dyan, if at least 70% in-export mo or yung investment mo na sa less developed areas. Pag non-pioneer naman class, well, restricted ka sa 60-40 agad. 60% Filipino, 40% foreign owned. And kailangan i-export mo 70%. Alright? So again, mas may incentive kapag pioneer project ka. Alright? And last one na class, before we go to our handouts, sir, what if hindi tayo listed sa investment priorities plan? Pwede pa ba, sir, maging BOI registered pag wala ka sa IPP? Pwede pa rin. Okay? So what if, lagay ko dito, pag wala ka sa IPP, not in IPP, ganito naman yung requirement class, no? Yung ownership mo, dapat 60-40, pero yung 50% of your production, i-export mo. Again, 60-40, yung local and foreign ownership, and 50% dyan, i-export mo. Now, pag ang nangyari naman class, yung foreign ownership is more than 40%. Kasi ang general rule natin class, 60-40, tama? What if yung foreign ownership mo, okay, foreign ownership, more than 40%, ano mangyayari dyan? Ang mangyayari dyan class, 70% ang production mo, i-export mo. Alright, so ganun siya. So, leaving go. General rule natin sa foreign ownership, 40% lang kasi 60-40 yan, okay? Ang exception dyan, pag pioneer, initially pwede kang 100%, pag at least 70% i-export mo or nasa less developed areas ka. Pag non-pioneer, 60-40, 70% i-export mo. Pag wala ka sa investment priorities plan, 60-40, strict yan, 50% i-export mo. Pag naman sumobra ka sa 40% na foreign ownership, 70% i-export mo. So, mas tumataas yung foreign ownership, mas tumataas yung dapat i-export na requirement. Gets? Okay. So yeah, let's finish our handouts. Let's go to number 39. Okay, 39. Last na to class. Statement 1, EO 226, or the Omnibus Investment Code of 1987, is relatively focused and systematic grant of incentives based on the Investment Priorities Plan. That's correct. The IPP is an annual listing of activities or undertakings considered critical to the attainment of the country's overall economic growth and development. Yes. Statement 3, BOI registered enterprises are subject to 5% GIT. Mali na yan. Kasi alam natin, yung 5% GIT applies only to PEZA registered companies. False. Statement 4, PEZA registered enterprises are subject to 5% GIT. That's correct. Okay? True, true, false, true. Letter C. Okay, the Philippine Board of Investment is agency under DTI din siya. Letter B, Department of Trade and Industry. Okay, the appointing authority of the members of the Board of Governors in the Board of Investment. So, ang tawag class doon, di ba kanina mayroong PEZA board, tama? Meron ding BOI na board, okay? So, ang tawag doon is Board of Governors. So, BOI chairman, yan din yung DTI secretary. Parang kanina, naalala mo yung PEZA chair, di ba? DTI secretary din yun. Yung BOI chair, DTI secretary din. Alright? And then, meron siyang vice chair, and then may governors. Ayan, governors yung tawag. Now, So number 41 is the appointing authority of the members of the Board of Governors. Ang mag-appoint niyan is the President of the Philippines, letter A. Okay, President of the Philippines. Number 42, which of the following is correct? A, the income tax holiday may be further extended up to 8 years upon meeting certain conditions. That's correct, no? For pioneer projects. New registered firms under BOI enjoys income tax holiday for 6 years and 4 years for non-pioneer. 6 years for pioneer, 4 years for non-pioneer. That's also correct. For BOI registered enterprises, the income tax holiday is same with PEZA registered. That's correct. So answer natin for number 42 is dog, all of the above. Okay, number 43, which of the following statements is incorrect? BOI registered companies are subject to 0% VAT. That's correct. After income tax holiday, BOI registered companies are treated as ordinary corporations. Correct yun. Yun yung pagkakaiba ng PEZA and BOI. So nakita nyo class, sa PEZA, ang medyo hassle doon, kailangan mag-locate ka doon sa PEZA, sa eco-zones. Sa BOI, kahit nasaan ka. Kaya lang, ang disadvantage, sa BOI, wala kang 5% GIT. Sa PEZA, meron. Okay? So pros and cons. So, kaya yun yung way ng options sa mga companies na magsiset up ng businesses sa PEZA or BOI. So incorrect, B is correct. Letter C, BOI registered companies are subject to 5% GIT, false. So C yung sagot sa number 43. Number 44, which of the following is not a preferred area of investment by the BOI? So again, kanina, binasa natin yung mga preferred areas, no? Preferred activities. Ang wala dito class yung energy nandiyan, hospital, yes, infrastructure, yes, food production, wala dyan yan. Okay? Dog for number 44. Number 45, it refers to the most recent list of the 30 poorest provinces of the Philippines at the time applications determined by NEDA. Ang tawag natin yung less developed areas, LDAs. Okay, so kanina, yung inopen natin yung link, yung PDF kanina, no? Nakita natin yung less developed area, so 30 provinces yon. And ano klase yung importance sa LDA? Pag doon ka nag-invest, ayan, LDA, initially pwede kang 100% foreign owned dyan. Okay? So may incentive ka kapag sa LDA. Dog for number 45. 46, to be entitled to registration under IPP, an applicant must satisfy that BOI, that the applicant is, except A, Filipino citizen, yes. B, if it's a partnership association that is organized under the laws of the Philippines, at least 60% is owned, controlled by Filipinos. 60-40 ang general rule natin, tama? So, true din yung B. C, if it's a corporation, it is organized under the Philippine laws, at least 60% of the capital owned by the Philippine nationals, yes, 60-40. Dog yung mali dito. So, dog yung answer for 46. If it is a corporation, it is organized under Philippine laws, and at least 60% of the outstanding, hindi authorized, outstanding capital stock is owned and held by Philippine nationals. 46 is dog. 47. One of the following statements is false. Which is it? A. Filipino enterprises are eligible to register their activity with BOI if their project is listed as a preferred project in the current investment priorities plan. Correct? B. An activity which is not listed in BOI may also be entitled if at least 50%. Pag wala ka sa IPP, dapat 50% dyan, ini-export mo. Okay? And 60-40 yung ownership. Right? So tama din yan. An activity if more than 40% foreign ownership, which is not listed in BOI, wala sa IPP. Okay? May also be incentive at least 70% i-export mo. So, kaya very important yung nilagay ko kanina dyan. That's also correct. Dog yung mali dito. Foreign-owned firms are not eligible to register the activity, false. Meron lang tayong foreign ownership restriction, no? Pero pwede yan. Dog for number 47. Okay. 48. What are the documentary requirements for registration of firms with the BOI? So, FYI, lahat to kailangan mo ipasa. A. Certificate of Incorporation, B. Audited FS and ITR for the past 3 years, Board Resolution expressing intention to register with the BOI. Okay. Number 49. So, dog for number 48. Last question, number 49, statement 1. Additional deduction for labor expense. So, sinulat ko kanina dito yung ADLE. Okay? Isa sa mga fiscal incentive siya ng BOI. Tama? Nandun sa listahan niya. Sa last item, merong ADLE dyan. Additional deduction for labor expense. Walang ganyan sa PEZA. Dito lang natin nabasa yan. So, tingnan natin class. ADLE for the first 5 years from date of registration, a registered enterprise shall be allowed an additional deduction for taxable income, 50% of wages. Skilled, unskilled, that's correct. Okay? Additional deduction for labor expense. Statement number 2, the ADLE shall be doubled or become 100% if the activity is located in an LDA. So kaya pinopromote yung mga LDA na yan, yung less developed areas. So again, another incentive, maging 100% yung ADLE natin. The privilege, however, is not granted to mining forestry projects as they would naturally be located in certain areas near their source of raw materials. True. ADLE cannot be simultaneously availed of with ITH. So true din yan. Okay, so ibig sabihin, during income tax holiday, hindi ka daw pwedeng magkaroon ng ADLE. So after, pag nag-expire na yung income tax holiday mo. Statements 1, 2, and 3 are all true. Answer natin dito class, letter C for number 49. Okay. So I think that's it. Sagutan natin lahat sa handouts natin. Okay, so that's the end of our discussion for preferential taxation.